Welcome back to our Zodiac Buzz. As promised, today we're going to look at Mercury, this little guy. This is the symbol for Mercury. Mercury's not a large planet, but it has a big impact on us here on Earth. It also travels close to the sun, so it's nearby. Wherever the sun is, Mercury is within a sign or two. Right now the sun is in Taurus, and Mercury just entered Gemini. So you can always tell where Mercury is because he's going to be close, he or she is going to be close to the sun. You can never have Mercury opposite the sun. So what does Mercury rule? Mercury rules the mind. Mercury is the messenger. It's related to the god Hermes, who darted around. Mercury's quick thinking, and it's quick talking. People that have strong Mercury in their chart are going to be fast thinkers and fast talkers because it also rules communication. So it's the learning and assimilating of information and the disseminating of information. Mercury is early learning, like verbal skills, memorization. It's your logical thinking and your analyzation. It's how you process all types of information. And then again, how you communicate it back out. Mercury likes to talk. Mercury rules cell phones, computers, anything that brings in information and shares it with other people, like social media. It's a messenger. So think of Mercury as the mind, messenger, media. Those are all key words. It's how you think and process information. It's also how you communicate, and it rules transportation, but local transportation. Because it's close to the sun, think of it as a local planet. And think of it as ruling the vehicles that get you there, like cars, buses. So when Mercury goes retrograde, those three things, communication, transportation, and messaging, can all get messed up, or they appear to. Your cell phone can drop calls, your computer can freeze up, the light can come on in your car and nothing can be wrong with it. So I always say if it's not something serious, wait till after Mercury retrograde. Those are just areas you've got to pay caution to. Now Mercury is also contracts. So during Mercury retrograde, you want to be very careful for signing important contracts, especially if you want to buy a new car. You'll probably want to wait till after Mercury goes direct, if you can help it. Some things are inevitable, but our thinking isn't always clear while Mercury is retrograde. So when it goes direct, we don't want to have regrets about the things that we've signed while it was retrograde. The same thing applies to speaking or sharing information. You want to be careful how you say things. Even if you mean something totally innocent, it could be misconstrued while Mercury is retrograde. So if you have new information to share, you might want to wait till Mercury goes direct. Now, how do we know when Mercury is retrograde? Well, that's what your friendly neighborhood astrologer is for. We use a book called an ephemeris, or an astrological calendar, to check those dates. 3 times a year, Mercury appears to go backwards. It moves forward around the zodiac. Again, it takes about 1 year's time, but 3 times a year it'll appear to go backwards. Now next month, Mercury will move into Cancer, and during its time in Cancer, it'll retrograde for 3 weeks. So next month, on June 18th until July 12th, Mercury will appear to be going backwards. And that's when you have to watch out for all the things I just mentioned. Also, you can tack on a week before and a week after minimum, because as Mercury goes direct and then goes to go retrograde, it's going to hesitate. It's going to have to slow down to go backwards. And while it's going backwards and when it's ready to move forward, there's going to be another hesitation. Those are called stations. So while Mercury's stationing to go retrograde and stationing to move forward, it gets really glitchy. So again, always add a little cushion before Mercury retrograde and after retrograde. Now, those are all the negative things associated with Mercury retrograde, but there are some really positive things that you can do with Mercury retrograde. Anything that you can put RE in front of works well, like reconnect, redo, recess, reconfigure. A lot of times Mercury retrograde will bring people from the past back into your life. Whether or not you choose to communicate with them is up to you. But if you've been thinking of reaching out to someone, Mercury retrograde is an excellent time to do that. It's also a good time to go within and just regroup. If you have projects that are unfinished, it's an excellent time to finish them up, redo. The only thing I would caution against is remodeling, because then you're signing big contracts and initiating a new project. So Mercury retrograde is a good time to take a time out if you can. Go back, reassess, look at any loose ends you need to tie up. People that you've wanted to reach out from your past, and look them up. It's an excellent time to do that. So use the energy positively and make the most of your Mercury retrograde. Okay, let me take a peek here at my astrological book, and I will tell you when the next Mercury retrograde is. So we have a Mercury retrograde coming up again from June 18th to July 12th. Then we have another one in the fall from October 13th to November 3rd. So those are times you want to be just a little extra cautious with communication and transportation. So thank you for tuning in and coming back to A Zodiac Buzz. If you want to contact me, ask any questions, or have your chart printed out for $10, it's not an interpretation. I'll email it to you with all the information, and you will have it to follow along while we do these free classes. And again, if you have any questions, contact me at azodiacbuzz@gmail.com. You can also follow me on Instagram at azodiacbuzz, and I'm on Facebook also under Carrie Feza1. So thank you. Stay tuned. Next time we'll look at Venus and Mars.